In this video, I'll show you how you can make a mechanism where you can animate multiple bones using only one controller. Don't worry, you won't be stuck to the same animation, you'll be able to fine tweak it with controllers as you wish. Without any delaying, let's get started. So here is what we're going to do in this video. We will animate a tail attack and then trigger it over and over again. This setup can be used for anything repeating that includes multiple bones like face expressions. So the first thing you want to do is to open the animation tab. In it, you need to select Dope Shit as your mode, then under it Action Editor. Now create new action and name it whatever you want. The important thing is that you press the fake user icon, the one with the little shield. This will prevent the Blender from automatically deleting it every time you start the file. Now we can start animating. I want to have the ability to move the tail a little bit backwards, so it can gather the energy to strike. For that, we need 3 positions. First is the rest position, second is the striking position, and third is where it leans backwards. I will insert those positions and make sure that interpolation is good. I advise you to spend most of your time polishing the animation because later on, animator won't need to tweak it as much, and they will be able to fully benefit from a mechanism. Now that you've finished your animation, you need to use it. For that, we will want a new bone to control it. In edit mode, add a new bone with Shift A. Make sure that you select the correct bone layer so it is not hidden when you create it and that it is aligned with the world space. If you're wondering how I gave it this nice shape, you should check the video where I explained how to do it. It is time for the magic and the core of the mechanism. For better demonstration, I will select the bone at the beginning of the tail. Go to the Bone Constraints tab, Add Constraints and choose Action. Now select the target. Since this is an armature, you need to specify which bone you want. Now, there are several things that I need to explain. First is the target channel. This will define what input of our target will be looking for to drive the animation. In this case, I want X rotation. I will also select the local space. This is a good practice to avoid any bugs that might happen if it's selected in world space. Next is the range minimum and maximum. Range minimum simply means what value will be starting frame at, and the range maximum dictates the ending frame. Interpolation between those values will interpolate the animation. Now for the last, simply select which is the starting frame and which is the ending frame. Those frames for me are the 3rd frame and the 12th frame. Remember to select action you created. When we test it, it works as expected. Now I want to go backwards. For that, I just need to copy the constraint with Shift D and pick the values. So instead of going it to 90 degrees, I wanted it to go to -50, and instead of going it to the 12th frame, I wanted to go to the frame 0, which is the pose where it leans backwards. As you saw, you don't need to go strictly from lower to higher value. Blender will calculate how it should go without any problems. So we have a working mechanism, now we need to copy to other bones. Fortunately, you can save time with this trick. Select all the bones you need constraints on, then select the one with the constraints last. Go up and click on Pose, then Constraints, then copy constraints to selected. Now all of the bones have right constraints and we have a wanted behavior. Although we have a functional rig, we have a big problem. Our controls have constraints on them, and if we were to bake animation, we would lose the constraints along with the mechanism. To fix this, I will copy the bones that I need and scale them on individual origins for visibility purposes. Remove any constraints in them by pressing Pause, Constraints, Clear Constraints. In advance, I will move the other bones to the new collection and hide it at the end. Process for copying the transforms from the new controllers to the old ones is simple. we can first select the bone that is the target, then shift select the owner, and then with Ctrl-Shift-C we can add a constraint and target will be automatically assigned. Set local space to local space as mentioned earlier in the video. If I were to try it, mechanism will be gone. That is because the copy transformation constraint is at the bottom of the stack, and because of that it overrides any constraints before it. To fix it, simply move it up to be first. As you can see, the problem is now fixed. Since this mechanism requires each bone to have a specific target, you will unfortunately need to repeat the entire process manually. There isn't many bones, so it won't be that hard. The only thing now left to do is to animate. This process now should be very simple, since you only need to animate singular controller. As promised, you can fine tweak it as you wish if it doesn't suit your needs. That will be it for this video. If you enjoyed, leave a like. If you have a question or want to correct me somewhere, leave a comment. Watch any of these videos next, and I hope you have a great day. Take care.